Hello and welcome to the School of Alevism. Today we'll be talking about the concept of Insan-i Kamil. What does it mean and why is it so important for Alevis? Insan just means human in Turkish, but Kamil can take a number of different definitions, from wise to without fault to complete. The Kamil human is the end product of the 4 doors and the 40 stations. Moving along the path as described by the 4 doors and 40 stations leads the human to become perfect and complete. This idea of enlightenment is found in a number of religions and ideologies, whether it's Buddhism or Hinduism. However, the phrase enlightenment has come to mean a number of different things for different people. We should be clear, when we speak of enlightenment, we're not referring to that period in European history in the 17th century, where we saw a flourishing in the sciences and the arts based off of knowledge acquired by the use of our primal senses, as opposed to that given by deities. Neither is enlightenment just some form of self-realization where maybe your ego dissolves. Instead, the path to an Insan-i Kamil is the path to a life of sharing, a life of honesty, a life of caring, even for those that don't care for themselves, a life of harmony and a life of peace. Now, the qualities of a good person are universal, and the one who's able to put this theory into practice is on the path to becoming an Insan-i Kamil. The human, before entering the path, is said to be hum in Alevism, so not formed at first. But as they grow, they can learn, and with the knowledge they acquire, evolve and become mature, which is one of the most significant definitions of the Kamil person. Now, a key concept in Alevism is in the practice of it. There's many inspiring quotes that I'm sure you've come across, which say something along the lines of, put theory into practice, or be the change you want to see in the world. And Alevism is no different in this sense. So for example, a simple idea like not causing pain to others, very similar to the creed that all doctors swear to, namely to do no harm, is something that many of us would wholeheartedly agree with. Yet, as can be seen in modern medicine today, this can be difficult when you're lacking the knowledge of a novel disease, or there's an illness with many complications. So actually putting that into practice has some obstacles to it. Another modern example of this could be the practice of food markets, containing and selling large amounts of animals in small spaces. Whereas maybe this practice in the late 20th century was beneficial in places like China due to the large population, in the 21st century we've seen that these create the conditions for pathogens to jump to humans, causing a significant threat to life. Clearly then, the idea of becoming an Insan-i Kamil does not run parallel to being an Insan-i Kamil. Alevis would only refer to a small number of people who have become an Insan-i Kamil, and one such example is an individual by the name of Ugur Boran. His story goes something like this. A young shepherd by the name of Haydar is looking after his dad's herd. To his father's surprise, even though a very cold winter has passed, Haydar's sheep seem very well fed and healthy. His dad, Mahmud Hayrani, decides to follow him on a winter's day. He observes that his son, as he taps these crops and the grass with his stick, they flower out such that the sheep dart towards it, being able to eat lavishly. Mahmud Hayrani tries to sneak away without being seen, but some of the sheep scurry towards Haydar, to which he laughs and asks, "What's wrong with you? Are you running away as if my dad Haydar is here?" But upon looking closer, he sees in fact that his father's walking away in the distance. Haydar feels very ashamed that he's referred to his father in a flippant way. And after returning the herd home, he chooses to leave, climbing to a cave in a nearby mountain, vowing not to return. A number of days later, his mother gets worried and sends his brothers to check up on him. They return after a long journey and say that he's fine and that his path is true, düzgün. From then onwards, he's known as Düzgün Baba. The cave of Düzgün Baba is a frequently visited site in Dersim, Turkey. People visit, climb the mountain, bring with them food, lokma, to share with whomever has also come to visit Düzgün Baba. Düzgün Baba is said to live on in the cave, not in a physical form, but the cave itself gets referred to as Düzgün Baba. People go there in search of some spiritual enlightenment of their own. Many Alevis talk about being overcome by emotions at the site, and like many other places in nature, it is a place which everyone respects. There's an interesting point to raise about enlightenment, and what it means to be an Insan-i Kamil. So can me, you or someone else ever truly express this concept of Insan-i Kamil in words? Given that some Alevis would consider gaining an understanding of Insan-i Kamil as maybe simply visiting Düzgün Baba, well, my answer to this could be actually no. And someone who would agree with me is the famous 20th century philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein. See, Wittgenstein was a philosopher who was interested in the philosophy of language, trying to understand not only how you and I communicate, but also how we are ever able to agree on what the word orange means, or what the word bread might mean. And according to Wittgenstein, language functions on the basis of describing pictures in our minds to other people. Now, later on in his life, his ideas shifted a bit, and he proposed, similarly to the logician Frege, that the definition of a word is given by its use. So this process of generating a definition from a use is achieved by playing sort of a game in language, which may not necessarily be equivalent to reality. Now, without getting stuck in Wittgenstein for too long, my point in relation to Insan-i Kamil is that my description of this part of Alevism, due to the lack of something I can actually point to, is probably not going to be clear, and the discovering of this concept is actually left to you through experience as opposed to just through language. Now, I hope this video helps you understand what Insan-i Kamil is. We have many more videos coming up on the YouTube channel, School of Alevism, so make sure to check it out, like and subscribe, and see you next time.